Hello, today we're going to show you how to make a machine gun style thing going on where you can shoot a swarm of bullets from either like a tower or a person when you click in the direction. So to do this, it's actually quite simple. There's a few things you're going to need to do. One is making a bullet prefab. For this, I just have a simple bullet sprite with my nice paint bullet here. And then you're going to want to add a rigid body onto the bullet itself. Also, you're going to need some kind of start point for the bullets. For that, I just have a generic hero, but this could be a tower or a gun, whatever you actually want the bullets to originate from. Then you're going to need to create some scripts here. You're going to need to create a script for the bullet and a script for the player. So we'll do the bullet first. So when you create the script for the bullet, there's some settings you're going to want. You're going to want to set the speed of the bullet, how fast you want it to go. For this, we're also going to put in a bullet spread. So this is roughly the angle degree of how far the bullets spread when you shoot it, so they don't shoot just in a line. We're going to want to store the trajectory of the bullet so we know which angle it's going. Create a reference to the rigid body so we can move the bullets. We're also going to keep track of how far the bullet travels so we can remove the bullet at max distance so we don't keep these objects permanently floating around in the game space. So on start, we want to do get our rigid body reference. So just this, get components, rigid body 2D. Then on the fixed update, so this is the best method instead of update for rigid bodies, what we want to do is we want to get the current position of the bullets wherever it is in the space. We're going to want to move the bullet along its trajectory path and the delta time. So move it to a new vector of the current position in the x direction plus the speed times the trajectory of the x component, so the trajectory vector, pull the x component of it, and then times it by the delta time. For the y, it's the same thing, y position plus speed times the y component times the delta time. Then on here, we're going to check our distance. So distance travel is a running sum of the speed of the bullet times the delta time. And then we'll do a quick check. If the distance traveled is greater than the max distance, let's remove this object. Now, when the bullet starts, we want to set its trajectory when we create it. So when we get the trajectory, it may or may not be normalized. So let's normalize the vector. This is so the speed is then not a function of how far away we click. For this, now we're going to add the bullet spreading on here. So this is what causes it to not stick in a line. So pretty much we're going to modify the x trajectory by our spread. So we got spread of 0.01. So either we're adding 0.01 or minusing 0.01 from the x, and then plus 0.01 from the y, and minus 0.01 from the y. Then we're going to save that trajectory into the trajectory of the bullet, so we keep that. And then right here, we're also going to do a little bit of magic with the starting position of this. So one of the reasons why we're about to do this step here is that if you start a bullet and it has the same speed, every time you click then, the bullets will always jump forward by the delta time. And so you end up getting a constant density of bullets in every so many time steps. So we want to add a little noise along the travel path just so the bullets look more random. So what we're going to do here is create random between 1 and 0. And then we're actually going to change the starting position of the bullet either by 1 step forward or from the original position all the way up to 1 step forward. So we just take the random from 0 to 1 times the trajectory of x plus the random times the trajectory of y, and then 0 in the z-axis because we're in 2D here. Then finally, with the trajectory, we have to convert that to an angle so the bullets actually rotate so we don't shoot an upwards facing bullet in every direction. So for that, we just do some math. And this math right here, I'm assuming that the bullet is starting traveling upwards, so in the positive y direction. So we have the angle then is the arc tangent of the y over the x, and then convert that from radians to degrees, and then we minus 90 degrees due to our object being up to start with, our drawing. And then we will set that rotation onto the bullet. Then we're also going to need another script for the person actually shooting the bullet. So this is your player, or this is your tower, whatever you have. So in this, you're going to need a reference to the bullet prefab, so they know what to spawn when you do it. I also on here already have some movement variables to move the player, just so it's a little more dynamic. So the main thing is we want to do this on mouse click. So in your update function, if the mouse button is down, let's fire a projectile. So how we're actually going to fire a projectile is this function right here. So first we want to create a new bullet, so game object, new object equals instantiate bullet prefab. So this actually creates the bullet, and we're going to save a reference to it. Then we're going to tell the bullet to start at our current position. So we'll set the transform of the bullet to our player transform. You obviously can modify this if you want to start not in the center of the transform, say the end of a gun or somewhere else, but this will just put us at the center of our player game object. Then we're going to give it the trajectory where to shoot. So to do this, we'll do some quick math here. We'll do the mouse coordinates minus the player. So to get the mouse coordinates, you do a function camera dot main screen to world point input mouse position, and then we want that as a vector 2, and then minus our starting position as a vector 2 as well. Then this will give us our trajectory as a 2 axis vector, 2-dimensional vector, thank you. And then finally we'll set that trajectory to the bullet. So in our new object, we'll get the bullet controller and set trajectory as a new trajectory. And once again, that function in the bullet is this set trajectory. So in the player controller, we spawn it when we hit a mouse down. We go to the fire projectile, it spawns the bullet, tells it to start at the player, we give it the direction, and then we set that direction in the function. And now it's almost done. So when you add the controller, or the script to your controller, so it's a tower, make sure you grab a reference to your bullet in the prefab. And then that should be it. You should be able to hit play and fire as well. Thank you.